Yo, what's up, guys? So I'm going to tell you guys the basis of team building, what team is best to build, and how to decide what Pokemon to use, what Pokemon are good. So there are basically three different types of Pokemon. There are attackers, there are healers, and there are supportive Pokemon. So supportive Pokemon are Pokemon that support your team by either buffing your team or debuffing the opponent's team, like lowering their stats. So if you go to Pokedex, you can go to category, you can go to assist, and it will give you, you can also change it to red, and you would see all the red rarity Pokemon that assist in some type of way. So you can go to Regigigas, look at his moves. The ones with an orange box with a little yin yang sign, those are supportive moves that assist the team in some way. So you can see Regigigas, it increases all allies' physical and special defense stats by 50% for 2 rounds. So this is a supportive Pokemon. It has a supportive move. If you're looking for a Pokemon in your team that supports them by boosting physical and special defense, this is the best Pokemon in the game. Even regardless, I still think it's one of the best Pokemon in the game because it provides so much value for only 40 SP, and it's very sustainable. You can just give it a Lepo Berry and it'll keep going forever and ever and ever. If you have it on auto, it'll continuously boost the physical and special defense, and the stats stack, so it'll go twice. So it'll increase it by 50 and increase it by 50 again. The third time you use it, the first move you use will wear off, so it only stacks up to 2 times. So stack one, stack two, you need to stack another one, so you're going to move the bottom one up. So it stacks twice, which is really good. I think it has a very above average speed stat, so you can really take advantage of it. If you ever decide to attack with it, since it's a self-sustaining move, you'll always have moves like Giga Impact ready. You can use it to target a Pokemon, freeze it if it's crucial for your opponent's team and you know that they need it. You can just use Giga Impact and it'll freeze it. It's a very good supportive Pokemon. Has access to a lot of different moves, and its ability has a chance to lower their speed stats. So it also has speed control options. So this is a very good supportive Pokemon. If you're looking for a Pokemon that heals, you can go to Pokedex, category heal, red. So it's gonna give you all the Pokemon with access to a move that heals either themselves or their teammates. So there, since there are three different roles, there are not really much in betweens. You don't want that much of a hybrid Pokemon. So something like Venusaur, it has access to a healing move and it has access to attacking moves. If we look at details, so Autoflower heals the whole team and has a pretty decent HP stat. So it's a very good heal Pokemon. Its ability gives it the option to attack, and every time it knocks a Pokemon out, it gains HP for the whole team. So it's also a good healing option there. Not as much as Oddflower, so I would recommend keeping it as a healing Pokemon, and then just make it bulky so it gets more value out of it. Um, so you just have to look at the different Pokemon. Pokemon like Alakazam, you would think, oh, look at how high its special attack stat is. It's pretty fast, pretty decent special defense, but it has extremely low physical defense stats, like the physical defense stats of a green Pokemon, and very low HPs. And you look at the moves, on top of not having very good defensive stats and HP stats, it doesn't have access to AoE, so it'll only work as a sniper. Um, it would just deal damage and heal itself, a single target, not much damage. Um, Again, deal damage to one Pokemon. You can have this AoE attack that deals damage to 4 Pokemon, but it's not very sustainable since it does cost 75. You're going to have a lot of investment in it. You're going to have to give it a white herb, a Lepa Berry, and a mental herb for it to gain enough SP so that it would be sustainable. So you need to think about um, the kind of investments you have to make into a Pokemon and what it really contributes to a team. Mega Alakazam does not contribute much. It doesn't synergize well, dies easily. So a Pokemon like Jirachi synergizes very well with its ability, increases the HP of all Pokemon, is very good because it helps the whole team out. It heals, it's very sustainable because it has a high HP, physical defense, and special defense stats. So those are the kind of things you need to look at when looking at if a Pokemon's good. A Pokemon that it's very, I often get, oh, is this Pokemon good? Is this Pokemon good? So we're gonna go to category. We're gonna go to red. All the way right here, we're going to go into Arcanine. People are going to ask, is Arcanine good? Look how high its physical attack stat is. Look how it can outspeed a lot of Pokemon. At 100, it outspeeds Garchomp, so it's pretty fast. but it's very fragile. Not very good special defense or defense stats. You look at its moves, it doesn't get access to any good moves at all, honestly, to take advantage of its stats that it has. It has high physical attack, but the only moves that really deal damage to a lot of Pokemon are Noble Roar, and it's a very heavy, heavy move. It gives access to speed control, but you can only pretty much use it once. And then any little water attack takes it out. So Kyogre attack knocks it out. So it has an option of speed control, but that's not really much of an issue later on because formations pretty much cancel out speed control Pokemon. So if you use Articuno, lower the speed by 10%. You can just use Wind Formation or something like that, Ice Formation, and you can just cancel out Pokemon like that. It doesn't really do much of a difference. So it doesn't contribute much to the team. If you're looking at Pokemon like Milotic, Milotic has very good synergy with Pokemon teams because its ability helps heal the Pokemon on your team whenever it's hit. It transforms some of the damage into HP. Let's look at the ability. So it heals Pokemon when it takes damage. On top of that, it has a good sustainable move, Sacrifice, which heals a lot of HP for the Pokemon. And it has a cool mechanic so that if it were targeted and another Pokemon is targeted and both of them are going to die, Milotic is the only one that dies because the heal goes off, I guess, right when they're about to die, so it heals up that amount. Also, if Milotic were to survive but the other Pokemon would die, the Pokemon would still stay alive because it is healed the same amount. So it's a very good sustainable Pokemon. It helps keep board presence. So that's how you can tell if a Pokemon's good or not, how much it contributes to the team as a whole. Pokemon that are supportive like Ash's Charizard. I use it for only for Bloodline power because it increases the physical attack stats of all my Pokemon. It can stack up to 3 times because it lasts for 3 rounds. So it's a very good move, very supportive, and it allows me to take advantage of these two Pokemon, Dragonite and Garchomp. So their abilities give them the option. They have the same ability, different name. Um, there's a 40% chance that they deal double damage. So that's a really good move. On top of buffing them up with Ash's Charizard, I also lower their defensive stats with my Charizard X. So Charizard X, let's look at the skills. I only use it for Leer also. It stacks up to 4 times because it lasts for 4 rounds, so it lowers their defense and special defense stats 4 times max. So it stacks up to 4. So my Pokemon deal more damage with Ash's Charizard. Their Pokemon take more damage because of my Charizard X. So it has really good synergy, buffing and debuffing. And then I have 2 Pokemon that take advantage of it, while I have 2 Pokemon that help keep board presence. So what you need to look for in a team is Pokemon that synergize well. My whole thing is to control the board, to make sure I outlast their little bursts of damage, and then I steamroll and take advantage of the boost that I got from these Pokemon. So if you're looking to make a team that just deals damage out as much as possible, then you only want to have Pokemon that sweep, and then maybe one Pokemon that boosts their attack stats so that they deal more damage every time they do an attack. So there are different teams you can go for. I recommend going for something like this, something that lasts longer in stages. I'm at stage 1550 because my Pokemon last longer in battles against Pokemon that are much, much stronger than them, just because my status moves stack and my talent is heavily invested into endurance and stamina. It lets my Pokemon last longer and it lets them deal out damage for a longer amount of time. So when you're trying to decide if a Pokemon's good, you need to think about the long game. So if I look at a Pokemon like Kyogre, Kyogre has access to the move Aqua Tail, which is a really good supportive move. It does 60 base power, deals damage to 4 enemies, which is a very good spread count for enemies, and has a 50% chance to freeze them. So half of the time, they will be frozen for 2 rounds, which is a very good supportive move. And it only costs 50, so every time you use it, you'll be losing 25 SP since you gain 25 a turn. If you give it something like a Lepa Berry and a Mental Herb, then it'll be losing only 5 SP per turn, and you can use it many more times in a row. It's a very good sustaining move. All moves that cost 50 and deal spread damage, they're usually very good. Very good indicator that the Pokemon is good and does have good moves. So a Pokemon that does not have very good self-sustaining moves, we could look at something like a Pinsir. So Pinsir, it's a move that costs 75 and it only targets one enemy, a sniper move. Or a move that targets one Pokemon and doesn't deal as much damage. And instead of the regular move that sustains, which costs 30, it costs 40. So not very good SP wise. Ancient Power really only boosts itself, and it's for 2 rounds, so you'll have to boost, defense, special defense, then attack. Boost and attack, boost and attack. So it doesn't have very good synergy because it's pretty much working by itself. You look at regular pincers, same thing. Move that attacks 1, a move that attacks 1, and you have a move that attacks 4, the same way that Kyogre does. But this move costs 75, which is 25 more. So it's not a very good self-sustaining move. So because of all of that, I don't think Pinsir's a very good offensive Pokemon, or a Pokemon that synergizes well with teams. It's a Pokemon that kind of likes to stand alone by itself. So you need to look for those kind of things when you're building a team. How does it work with the rest of your team? How long will it last? How much energy does it have to spend over how many rounds? If you have a Pokemon like Salamence has access to one of the best sustainable moves in the game, Dragon Hammer. 4 spread, so it targets 4 Pokemon, has the same ability that gives it a chance to increase the power by 2, like doubles the damage. Pretty good power for a move that targets 4 and only costs 50. And it also has the move Growth. So it has the option of being a supportive Pokemon and an offensive Pokemon when you need it to be, which is something really good because if you give it something like a Mental Berry, I mean not a Mental Berry, a Mental Herb, it'll be a self-sustaining growth, always costing 30, always gaining 30, so you're always going to be at 100. And when you need that burst damage, you go for a Disabled Breath, and its AoE has the chance to double in damage. It's really good, and it takes advantage of Salamance's pretty high physical attack stat. So that's why Salamence is a good Pokemon. You need to look at what they do for the team and how they would work in a team. A Pokemon like Steelix, where is Steelix? Not very good because it doesn't really contribute much to the team. 30 SP is very self-sustaining, but it has a low power and his attack stat is not very impressive, so it doesn't really scare anybody very much. You think, oh, his ability lets him get revived and heal and he'll be back at half health. But there's no point in keeping a Pokemon around that doesn't contribute much because it can be there forever and ever, but if it doesn't deal damage, it's not very scary. And they can heal for more damage than it deals, so it's not a very good Pokemon. So those are the kind of things you need to look out for. How long they'll survive, how long they can attack and support for, and if it goes good for your team. If you have a Pokemon that heals, but you have Pokemon that have a lot of HP and very low physical defense and special defense, it's not very good because you'll be healing for a fraction of how much health they lose, and it's not going to be a good trade-off. If you have a Pokemon like Regigigas and his speed were to go down to, let's say his speed was 60, so he wouldn't be that fast. He wouldn't be able to take advantage of the status move. They'll get hit with one wave of attacks before he even gets his wide guard off. They'll get hit by another wave before you get to get his wide off guard to stack again. So then he wouldn't be very good. But his speed lets him take advantage of wide guard. So those are the kind of things you need to look out for. A Pokemon like Lucario, everyone gets a Lucario at the 7th day. He has access to Skull Bash, Flame Wheel, all single target moves, so it doesn't really contribute much to the team. It snipes and not even for that much damage. And then it has Spark, which boosts his dodge for 2 rounds. So it doesn't contribute much to the team. It doesn't boost the team stats. It boosts himself. It only does damage to one Pokemon. Not very good in a team. So those are what the things you need to look out for. If they help the team, how they help the team, how long will they help the team for. If there's a move that heals massively, but you can only use it once and then you have to recharge for like 2 more turns, and it's not really worth using. So those are the kind of things you need to see. If its ability is only for itself and doesn't really help what your team is trying to do, if you're trying to deal a lot of damage, but it doesn't let you deal damage, or if you are trying to last longer. So I guess those are the main things. You just need to look for your supportive Pokemon. I'll put good supportive Pokemon down right here. You need to look for good healers and good sweepers. I'll put pictures down here so you guys see the Pokemon that are good in those categories, and you can review them and you'll see why I think they're that good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I would recommend doing something like what I did. I have a team one that supports by boosting my special defense and defense, one that heals to take advantage of what Regigigas is doing, Ash's Charizard, which boosts their attack stats, Charizard X, which lowers their special and physical defense. So one that increases how much damage I do, and one that increases how much damage they take. So these two synergize very well also. And then you have two Pokemon that take advantage of these two Pokemon. So you see a lot of synergy going on here. A lot of Pokemon that help to my end goal, which is taking advantage of these two Pokemon, which are really strong. These two Pokemon that make them last longer. These two Pokemon that help these two Pokemon deal that damage that I want them to do. So this is a pretty good. I think this is one of the better lineups in the game right now. Definitely one of the best lineups for physical attacking Pokemon. Once my Groudon gets to the point where its regular attacks deal more damage than Dragonite's attacks when his ability goes off, that's when I will use Groudon. But in the meanwhile, I'll be using Dragonite because its ability is just ridiculous. Dragonite, Garchomp, and Salamander abilities are ridiculous. So that's kind of the main gist of it. I would suggest something like this for a team starting off. I think this will help carry you through a long way in the stages. I'm up to 1550, and I still don't feel stuck. Honestly, I feel like it's very easy for me to move forward, and I'm only level 68. So this is something that was designed for a level 85. If we take a look at my bag, I have items level 85 that I got from this stage and from the shop because I'm in a stage where the game thinks you have to be level 85 to be at this stage. So a team like this is going to take you very far. It's going to help you clear a lot of gyms also. You just need and it also works very good on auto if you're defending because you just take away the moves you don't want them to use, so they'll only do what you want them to do. Since they only use one move anyways, it's pretty easy. And then they all pretty much only do one thing. So it's just repeat, 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 repeat. And it's very good on auto, it's very good on defense. I recommend a team like that. Starting off, it'll make you go through most of the game. And once you start getting higher up in the game, like the power level is around 10 million, you passed all the stages, that's when you can start experimenting and making your own teams, trying to make funny teams, like something that helps Lucario survive and just take advantage of Lucario's ability. Funny things like that. So that's pretty much it. Now you know how to analyze Pokemon, how to build a team. Hopefully, if you guys have any more questions or you guys just need more help, you can post something down in the comment section. I'm going to leave a link to the Discord channel. Our clan has a Discord channel. We help answer a lot of questions. We help if you have questions about team, what you should add, what Pokemon are good, you can post it there. We're a really supportive guild. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time.